To which I will tell you, 5th grade math starts out incredibly easy, and I know you've done this, but 6 to 1 half does the other. Might as well start out easy and get harder than start out hard and get easier, right? Maybe not. Now, how do I know if a number is an even number? Well, we have to know what the even digits are. And if I asked you what the even digits are, we talked about the other day of digits being, the 10 digits we use are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which of those are the even digits? 0. 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Those are the even digits. And you must remember to tell if a hashtag is odd or even, you simply look at the last digit. Emphasize on that last digit part there. Obviously, we're going to get to odd numbers in a second, but we'll do even first. Here's my example. Is that thunder or is that coming from this? Sounds like it does. Which means, boys and girls and kids of all ages, if I gave you these 3 numbers and I said the directions were to circle the even one, you simply, to tell whether it's odd or even, you only look at the last digit. It doesn't matter what comes in front of it. If the last digit is even, then that number is even. The last digit here is a 5. It is not one of the even digits, so we don't circle that one. The last digit here is a 0. It is even, so 80 is an even number. And 784 ends with a 4, so it is even. It doesn't matter that that's a 7 or that's an 8. Now the nice thing about even numbers, ladies and or gentlemen, the beauty of math, Ava Robbins, is that there are certain things you can do to do things. What do we know about even numbers? The one big thing about even numbers, the nice thing about even numbers is that, Caleb, what the nice thing about even numbers? Ooh, how did you know that? That's exactly what I was going for. You can split in half. Well, you can split any number in half, but even numbers get split in half equally. Well, you can split any number in half equally, actually, as whole numbers. Which simply means this. Okay, if I have half of 80, half of 80 is 40. 40 is a nice number. 40 is my friend. I like 40. It was a good year for me back in the day. 784, I'm not going to ask you to split because that gets a little bit tougher. But, numbers like 12. What is half of 12? 6. Oh, you guys are smart. Half of 14? 7. Those are nice numbers. To which I know you're thinking, if there's nice numbers, there's probably not nice numbers.
Yep.
They're mean numbers. And let's just, all right, let's talk about this one for right now. What about this? See, 12 and 14 have nice little splits in half. But the number 13, unfortunately, does not, first of all, it's an odd number, but it doesn't have a nice split in half. When the book will ask you this, when you're asked what half of 13 is, what is it? And here's what we should think about is this. Let's say I've got a number line. Here is 11. Here is 12 on my number line. Here is 13 on my number line. here is 14 on my number line. Oh wait, I can't do it like that, can I?
Yeah. You can do anything you want. He's a teacher.
No, I can't do it quite like this. Maybe we should do it like this. Let's do this. I have 13 little stick people. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Or let's say I have $13. And I'm trying to split it between me and my friend. What happens there? Well, he gets 1, I get 1. He gets 2, I get 2. He gets 3, I get 3.
You can't exactly do that.
He gets $4, I get $4.
Just draw arrows.
I'm getting there. Oh yeah, you can't. I agree. This would be a tough one for you to do. I forgot about
Just
that.
draw arrows.
We both get 5. We both get 6.
Uh-oh.
We both get 6, but then I'm left with this $1 left. How do I split $1 between 2 people?
You could
Grayson?
have you give someone 50 cents.
Right, which is a half of $1. So my little thing down here, half of 13 is 6 1/2, which isn't a nice number, but it's not a bad number. But notice what to notice. It's whatever 12 is plus 1/2, or it's whatever 7 is minus 1/2. And that's kind of the pattern you have to think about when you do halves of, has everybody got that written down? Because I have to go, we have to go, I've got to do odd numbers before we really talk about this, because I keep talking about the odd numbers, and I know what odd numbers are, but we have to put them in the notes. I'll go back to this one if you need it. So take out a blank piece of paper and let's talk about odd numbers. And with those odd numbers, and by the way, where do even numbers then go? Even numbers will go in the back, in alphabetical order, somewhere between, what 2 notes do you have right now? You got digits and sequence, so even would go where? After digits, before sequences. I tell you, you 5th graders are much smarter than most of the 5th graders I've ever had. But not quite as smart as some. Maybe not. And the odd digits, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. One, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And I don't really need to talk about this, but again, if it ends with one of those digits, it's odd. Going back to my 75, my 80, and who knows, 376. I don't remember what that last number was. Only one of those is odd. Which one is the odd one there?
75.
75, because it's the only one that ends with an odd digit. So this is the only odd one. This is even. This was even. Everybody was happy. Now back to our discussion about finding half of something. If I asked you to find half of 41, half of 41, the first thing you do is you look at 41 and you grunt in disgust because it's an odd number, and odd numbers don't have nice halves. But then you think in joyful glee that you know how to find odd numbers. The process would be this, okay? Think about what's the closest even number closest to 40. 41 falls between 40 and 42, correct? Those are both even numbers, and you can take nice halves of that. What is half of 40?
20.
20. What's half of 42? 21. Well, half of 41 is the half that's either bigger than 20 or the half that's less than 21. Half of 40 is 20 and 1/2. Because if I were taking money and I had $41 and I were splitting it up between me and my friend, I would get 20 My friend would get 20, but then I got that $1 that's left, means I gotta split it in half, and I get half, and he gets half. So you either have to add half to that or half away from it. Let's see if that makes any sense. How about this? What about half of 15? What is half of 15? Think about what half of, think of the next lower even number. What's half of 14? 7, and then you just add a half to it.
Oh.
What's half of 19? Well, think of the next lowest even number. What's half of 18? 9.
Oh.
And add a half to it. Every odd number, when you take half of it, will have a 1/2 fraction after it. For example, here's a good one. This one will amaze and astound your friends. What's half of 101? James?
50 and a half?
Right, because you think of the next lower even number, which is 100. Half of 100 is 50, and then you just tack a half. If I had $101, we need to get 50 whole dollars and then half of another one. Now, maybe some that get a little tougher. A little bit tougher. We'll see what kind of hand we've been dealt here. Let's do an even number. What is half of 30? 30 is an even number. Half of that, anybody? David?
15.
15. Now, let's go really for the jugular. What's half of 35? Half of 35. It gets a little bit tougher when you start doing halves of numbers that aren't even first digits. But let's see what happens here. Well, we said, think about the next lowest even number. What's half of 34? 17. So half of 35 is half of 35 is 17. And probably the toughest one, we're going to stop with the toughest one of all. Well, it's not. Oh. If I said find half of 75. Half of 75. If you use the way we've been doing it, we need to figure out what half of 74 is. And that's tough. That is a tough one. Any good way to figure out what half of 74 is? You could sit and count each one, I guess. Yeah, you can do dividing if you're good at dividing, but you really shouldn't necessarily have to. David, what's your thought process, and how did you find half of 74?
Go down to 70 and figure out what's half of 70, and then what's half of 7, or what's half of 4, and then add them.
Okay, yep, you could think about this. Split 70 and 4. Half of 70 is, maybe you know that. What's half of 70? It's 35. And half of 4 is 2. So you put those together, you get 37. But I wanted half of 75, so guess what my number is? Half of that is
37 half.
Yeah. When you start getting some of these, well, we'll talk more about it later, but when you start getting halves of odd first digits, it's a little on the confusing side. But I don't think they give you too many of those. I don't think. How about that? Was that not the most exciting thing you've ever had?